Guys, and welcome to Rebellion 2021. I've spent the last 10 minutes frustrated beyond stink. I was trying to adjust my camera, it got stuck. Then I have four batteries actually. I have four batteries and I only use two of them. The other two are for backups in case of emergency. I have never used them. And this is one of them. They both died. My batteries, I forgot to charge them. I don't know why. I forgot to charge them both. They both died on me, and I'm using one of my emergency backups that I've never used before, and I don't know how long this one's going to last because the battery could die within 10 to 20 minutes. Welcome to this review of Rebellion that pisses the living fuck out of me, and I will rant about it at the end of this review if I don't forget, because there's a lot that happened here. But I am going to rant about it. I'm going to rant. And you know what I'm going to rant about. And I want to make this very clear that I got something to say to you, my subscribers. If you think I should stop watching wrestling, I should just forget it because I'm ranting. Kiss my ass. Because I'm going to rant because Impact deserves it. But before we get to that, let's go through this pay-per-view that is supposed to be highly important for AEW and Impact Wrestling. First match, the X Division triple threat of TJP, of Ace Austin, and Josh Alexander, who they have been pushing. Now, I expected Josh Alexander to win here, and the match was actually quite good. Let me put it to you in this respect. Not every time a match is going to look good. Not every time you're going to get a good match out of a Josh Alexander, TJP, or a Ace Austin. But we got it here. It was a good to great opening match. Taking away what I will talk about at the end of this review, but it was a very good opening match. It was. And Josh Alexander won that damn match. And he deserved to win. You needed a change from Raju, TJP, and Ace Austin. You've had the same guys who've held the title multiple times. Even when it comes to a Chris Bay, he's held the title already. You needed a total change-up of someone different that everyone else has to chase after. And now you got it in a Josh Alexander. Now the question's going to be, how is Josh Alexander going to act when he becomes X Division champion on this Tuesday's Impact? That's going to be a big question. Will everyone be chasing after him? Will he be a tyrant? Will he be a fighting champion? Will he act totally different than what we think? That is going to be the big question. Let's move on. We got Violence by Design versus all the faces of Eddie, of Willie, of Sabin, and of Storm. Now, Eric Young couldn't participate. I was shocked. I'm telling you. When it comes to Eric Young, he got hurt, so he can't do it. So they got a stand-in for him. And fuck yeah, you got a stand-in that you would not expect. He's in my face. I believe I got that shot of Big Cass. What is his name? Morrissey. Like Hennessy. Morrissey, I believe that's his name. He came in and he towered over everyone. Look, Joe Dorling is a big-ass man that's towering over everyone already. Look, Impact wrestlers are not big. The only few that are big is Moose, Joe Dorling, and you could say to a certain extent it comes to XXXL. When it comes to Larry D and AC Romero, they're big guys, but they're not tall big guys. Joe Dorling was the only monster there who was a tall big guy until Morrissey, or whatever Big Cass is called now. He towered over him. And did he look ripped? Heck yeah. The guy has been hitting the gym and doing gains, baby. He looked great here. Now, it doesn't mean that the match didn't have some issues. There was a lot going on. You could not catch everything. Particularly how the situation went for the rant I'm going to do. but you had a hard time trying to keep up with what was going on in the ring. It was difficult to keep up with it. But in the end, Willie Mack did the job for Big Cass, Morrissey. I'm fine with that. An established wrestler, an established talent in Impact Wrestling did the job for Morrissey. Don't know if he's staying. Don't know if this is a one-time thing or if he's signed to Impact or if he's doing a taping by taping basis because they tape. We don't know. But no matter if it's an actual contract signing, if it's a one-time only, or if it's a taping by taping basis. In other words, maybe 4 tapings he does it and then he's done. It don't matter. Seeing someone totally new in Impact on a very important pay-per-view was nice to see. Now, we next had the match that really needed a stipulation. Matt Cardona versus Brian Myers. Now, here's the thing. It really felt like it needed a stipulation. It really did. It really did feel like they needed. That stipulation they had, pick your poison, didn't feel like it needed to be done. Here it needed to be done. Either a Falls Count Anywhere match, either a First Blood match, maybe that would have been better. Maybe a steel, I know they couldn't do a steel cage because there's a restriction in that place. But I'm just saying any type of stipulation would have been better than just a straight up match and Matt Cardona acting like he messed up his knee so Brian Myers could get the win. Now, let's put this in perspective. You got 2 guys that have been working in the business easily for 15 to 18 years. And they've known each other literally as teenagers. They broke into the business together. They tag teamed together. And literally, I think these guys in real life love each other like brothers. No matter what happens, if one stays in Impact, one goes to AEW, or neither one of them goes to AEW, one of them goes to MLW, NWA, or whatever. No matter what, they will always stick together. They will stay friends for life. They're just like JBL, and when it comes to a Ron Simmons, who I wish would come to Impact Wrestling. I'm just saying he could be a manager. And I'll be getting to that in a minute with Jazz. But when it comes down to it, this match needed something because of how close they are. They needed more. Maybe you could have had Matt Cardona's wife there with Brian Myers' wife. I know they're not wrestlers, but oh yeah, I can't. You can't do it with Chelsea Green because she's still under a no-compete clause. She couldn't be there. My mistake. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just saying if it was possible, that's what they needed. They needed a stipulation, needed something extra. It wasn't the fact the match was bad. It wasn't a bad match. These guys know each other so well. The amount of counters that was being done by them was quite impressive. They literally were countering each other so much, they were pissing each other off, which helped the match. It did, but it still felt like they needed more to this match. They needed something extra, and yes, Brian Myers basically destroying Matt Cardona because he couldn't work anymore. Ref doing this, trying to say, hey, Matt Cardona messed up his knee again, when you saw that he twisted an ankle. I don't think I got that shot. I have to look through all the shots I took. I took like 98 shots. No, wait, not 98 shots. I think it was 105 shots. My mistake, 105 shots. They took about 105 shots, not 98. I just remembered some extra shots I took. I took a lot of shots in this pay-per-view, guys. I was not joking around. I wanted to make sure I could get whatever shot was necessary. But, taking away from that, taking away from it, you get Brian Myers winning. Which, this doesn't end their feud, but to be honest, as I'm saying, a stipulation would have helped going forward beyond Rebellion. Now, Hood Rats versus Grace and Rachel Ellering. Now, this was disappointing to me personally. Now, let me put this in perspective. The last time I saw Rachel Ellering was on either an episode of NXT, it was a regular show, or It was during the Mae Young Classic. I think the second Mae Young Classic, that's when I saw her. And she looked promising. She was crisp in her work. She was good with her work. Yes, she was still very new in the business. She's only been in it 5 years. And I do believe she was only in it 2 or 3 years when she did that. She wasn't perfect. For no matter, she was perfect. But she had promised to improve. Now, we get the video package. Now, I didn't say anything about the video packages that happened to the shows. The video packages for the X Division, for Brian Myers and Matt Cardona for this one, and all the others were actually well done. Really, they were well done. The quality of the video packages before each match, top notch. I had no problem with it. They were done exceptionally well. They took what already they had recorded, they added more to it, and made it look good. Now, I'm not saying they were perfect, but they were well done. The match itself was good, except for one problem. And what I hoped for Jazz has now come true. She's sticking around in Impact Wrestling, but here they said that she got a manager license, and now she's a manager. When do you need a manager license? When the fuck did you need a manager license to become a manager in Impact fucking Wrestling? When? When did you need a manager license to be a manager in Impact? I don't remember that happening. But she now has one, and she's now the manager of Jordynne Grace and Rachel Ellering, who looked bad. Guys, I don't know if Rachel had a baby. Maybe she did. I don't know. She might be coming back after having a child. Or she has not been exercising or training. Because when you look at her, it's not about if she's chubby or not. There are women that are thick. There are women that have a little bit of belly and can still wrestle their ass off. Ergo, Kimberly, who can wrestle her ass off, and she's a thick woman, and Dana Purrazzo, who's not a thin-ass woman either. But this was not about her showing some belly. This was about her ring work. And her ring work was not good. She was the slowest one there. Yes, she had a few glimpses, a few moments where she showed her power. But clearly, it was Jordynne who was carrying that freaking match the entire way. And Rachel looked like the odd woman out. She did. Look, you calm down. You can say a lot about Tasha Steelz, but she can do the job in the ring. She may go overboard a little bit and maybe sell a little too much, but she's good. You look at Kiera Hogan, Miss Hotness with that nas. And tell me, you guys tell me, did you see any butt in this show? They went out of their way to show the men's asses by both cameramen. But for the women, they did everything they could to prevent their asses being seen or their cleavage. A few shots I did get of like Rachel trying to fix her top that her boobs wouldn't spill out a little bit. But they tried to protect the women to make sure they didn't see nothing. That feels like discrimination. Why are the men showing their ass and the women can't show their ass? This is an equal opportunity industry. Both sexes show their ass because the cameramen do that. And in this case, maybe the cameramen like men asses. I'm just saying. But Rachel, I'm hoping it's because she has not been in the ring for a while. It's not because she has had a baby. I'm just saying maybe she did. Because she did look like she might have mommy fat. Maybe. But even if it's not mother fat, it doesn't take away how she worked in the ring. And it was slow, and it was not very well done. It was very sloppy in most cases, where I think she hurt Kiera Hogan almost. But this is just me. And they won the damn titles, which I knew they had to. Look, the Hood Rats were the first women champions in a long time in Impact. And in history, they're the first women of color to win a tag title in that company together. They've had men do it. They've had women do it. But they never had two women win tag belts together. It's the first time. Not even the WWE has done that. So it's quite interesting. And congratulations to them. But it was time for them to drop those titles. It was necessary. They needed it. It was time to drop those damn titles. And they did. And I'm glad they did, because now they can chase them. They can chase them, and they need to chase them. I'm just hoping to bring in more women. Now, we had, the match that felt, well, this is hard. Because the women's knockouts tag match, I can't say it's the worst match. I can't. Because it was okay. Then I look at the men's tag match. And it wasn't the fact that it was a bad match. It was because of the ending of the match. Because it makes no sense. That's FinJuice versus the Good Brothers for the Impact Tag titles. I'm confused about something. You guys tell me below what you think. Because what is the point of FinJuice retaining the titles if they're not going to stay in Impact? I'm hoping they'll stay in Impact now and actually stay for a while, do some tapings, and basically can defend against maybe XXXL again, maybe Reno Scum again. Definitely the Good Brothers are going to try after them again. They got to do something. They need to do something with those damn titles, unless they're going to let them go off to New Japan Pro Wrestling again, and we will not see them again for another month. Because as it stands, even with the Good Brothers going to AEW, it kind of makes some sense to give it to them, because then you would have them be seen on AEW as well as Impact, because we still don't see any New Japan Pro wrestlers. We still don't see any New Japan Pro wrestlers. Have you guys heard what I've been telling you for months about Impact Wrestling? You want to keep defending them? You're going to hear me rant later. Oh yeah, it's coming. I am going to be so mad, I'm going to turn fucking red. But if I think I'll turn red, I don't know. I don't want to make myself sick. Or maybe I'll just laugh my ass off how I feel. But we haven't seen no New Japan Pro wrestlers other than FinJuice. What do you think? What have I been telling you? Seven. Oh, is it 7? There's supposed to be maybe 8. I don't remember all of them. But you get my point. How many have been there? Let's move on. Now, we have Dana Purrazzo versus a Tennille Dashwood for the Impact Women's title. This was a match that I gotta say was good at first, and then it degenerated to two women being exhausted, almost. At the very end, they tanked. Look, Dana Purrazzo can go. Tennille Dashwood can go. And they did a good job in the beginning. It was like this. It went up, 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 and it felt like that by the time it was over. They acted like they were so badly tanked. They could barely walk almost. And in the end, and this is the thing that got me, I was thinking the best option would be for Tennille Dashwood to drop the title and then chase it. I know they're going to have Taylor Wilde in there, and I didn't think about her at the end of the show. Not the end of the show, end of that match. Coming out and going after the other two of her ensemble. You know why I botched? Because I knew that Kimberly and Susan were going to interfere, and they did. And that's one of the reasons why Deanna won. But, and you think this, wouldn't it have been better to wait, maybe on the next Impact, to give us something to have a reason? And I know it might be better to do it now. Most people say, look, it was better to do it now, to have Taylor Wilde come out and present herself and to make it mean something. But honestly, if you're going to use still a Dana Purrazzo as your champ, it would have been better for her to go on to the next Impact and then Taylor Wilde to come out and then start building from there. Because as it stands here, it kind of undercuts what happened with Tennille Dashwood. Look, Tennille couldn't participate for several months after the pandemic happened. When she finally came back, she showed what she can do. She is a good wrestler, but they had nothing for her to do for months until now, until they needed to, because why? You know, Dashwood was the only one that has not gone through a destruction of a Dana Purrazzo. Dana has gone through everyone on the roster. Everyone. In some cases, twice. She's gone through everyone. So now, it would have been a nice fresh thing to see a Tennille Dashwood who's never won the title win it. But then you bring out Taylor Wilde. She shows herself, she whoops some ass, and then she's there. But it feels like it should have waited until the next Impact. That's how I feel about it. That's what I think should have happened. But that's just me. You guys tell me below. Okay. The best match of the night, literally. And this was Sammy versus Trey. That I did not know there was a falls count anywhere. No, not falls count. Sorry. I think that should have happened for Brian Miles and Matt Cardona. Falls count anywhere. This was a last man standings match. You see, I'm still thinking about it. I gotta say, and understand, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I was not against Sammy helping out Trey to get him over. I was never against it. But I still believed that Sami Callihan was wasting his time because he was still in the mid-card and he should have been either doing the X Division, where they could have used him, or the main title scene, where they could have used him. Now, mind you, the story hasn't been 100% bad, but it wasn't something I cared about. Because still, you needed Sammy. He's in my face. He's in my face. He made this match mean something. Yes, Trey busted his ass at one point. It's in my face. He literally allowed Sammy to slam him onto the leg of the table. Let me repeat that again. Let me back that up. The first heavy stunt, the heavy spot, was when Trey was thrown out over the top turn rope, could not grab the ring rope, and he splatted onto the mat on the ground. From the ring, he held nothing. I believe I have that shot. He held nothing. He went splat. That could easily, hell, Randy Orton broke his collarbone because of that. He broke his damn collarbone doing that type of stunt. He's lucky he didn't hurt himself. Then, he allowed Sami Callihan, and I'll probably show that again, to slam him onto the legs, the piece that holds the two legs of one side together. That was the first time I think anyone on normal, national, and international television has done that. Because WWE's never done it. I'm sure Impact has never done it before that. AEW's never done it. ROH, I'm sure, hasn't totally done that unless it was an accident. This was done on purpose. This was a damn good last man standings match. It was. And Trey wins. He does. And it made Trey. No one says that Sammy is not the damn draw of Impact Wrestling, can't make someone better. He does. I've said this multiple times. Multiple times. When he's working with LAX and Santana Ortiz, he made them better. When it came to Eddie, he made him better. And in this situation, with him and Trey and Tessa, he made them better. He's that damn good. Why is he not in the main title scene? I don't know. Why is he not in the X Division? I don't know. And if you say he doesn't need to be there, explain why that match was so damn good. And it wasn't Trey that made it that damn good. It was Sammy. And I'm not taking anything away from Trey because I love Trey and he busted his ass. Like I said, here it is again, putting his back on the line. He could have broke his damn back. That's not safe, but he did it anyway. Let's move on to the final match of the night. And that is Kenny Omega, the Cleaner, versus Rick Swann for title versus title. The Impact Unified title. Well, he was carrying. I don't know why. You guys tell me below. Why didn't Scott D'Amore make a new unifying title for Impact? Why did he just carry the damn titles and not have the new unified title ready for whoever won? I don't understand why he didn't do that. What, they didn't have the budget? They didn't have a budget? Come on. You could have repurposed the Impact Grand Championship if you needed to. If you needed a new title, just put some new plates on it and switch it out. If you needed a new title, you could have used one of the older titles, recycled it, replaced the plates on it, and people would recognize, well, it looks like the Impact Grand Championship, but it's now the unified title. That would have been better than having two titles and not having a new brand or old new title refurbished to give to whoever won. That I don't understand. Was this a good match? At first, yes. The middle, yes. Parts of the middle going into the end, it looked sloppy by Rick Swann. Rick looked like he was acting very sloppy. And then even Kenny looked like he was sloppy. At one point, when they were supposed to do a stunt off the top turnbuckle, it looked bad. Someone botched. And I think at one, it was Kenny. And then the next one, they tried again at another ring top turnbuckle. It was Swann who messed up. So either one of them botched. Then, another botch. You had the, what is it? I forgot his... Let's just put it like this. Brian basically got cuttered. He got a cutter for his trouble. And then Audrey had to go in and check him to see if he was okay. That's when I was thinking, oh no, are they going to try and pull some type of garbage here? At one point, the way things were going, it made me nervous, especially with came to Don and his interview. He did a great interview with Tasha. And when it came down to it, I was worried, like, are they going to do some stupid screwy ending because they have two refs there? But they didn't. You got the... Let me put it to you like this. I know a lot of people right now are angry. There are a lot of people angry. You know why? Because they were not happy with what's been going on with Impact. Other people understand, like I do. And I've said this, and I think I might be the first person since this began, when the unifying title match was going to happen. I said, and I know someone can quote me, that Kenny Omega is going to come and he's going to go after those titles. No one didn't say it wasn't going to happen, but I know I might be one of the few or one of the first that said that Kenny is going to come to Impact and he's going to take those damn titles. Or title, because we didn't know that Moose's title was going to be legitimate. Even though I said it should become legitimate, it wasn't. But in the end, it did become legitimate. They had the unifying title match, and I've been saying ever since then, it's got to be Kenny Omega. But then, in this situation, and because we're finished now, we finished the match, it's time for the fucking rant. You wonder, what was impacting... What the fuck was Impact thinking about this damn fucking match? And every other match that went on in this show, because I'm not doing anything nice anymore. I'm telling you now, and I'm saying this to anyone, I don't care who it is. I don't care. If you tell me in the comments that, dude, you're getting so angry, you don't like wrestling anymore, you're always complaining, why don't you just stop? Maybe I'm just saying, you know what? Fuck you. I have the right to complain when something looks bad. It's not about me saying, well, maybe this should be good for the company. Maybe I should come up with this series talking about how should be. how you should be booking this, how incredible it would be to have these type of matches. This is not about that fucking type of stuff. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy doing my booking wrestler series on Impact Wrestling, and I may do it on AEW, and I may do it for NWA eventually. I've been considering it. NWA have to wait a while because there's just not enough content to do anything yet, and not enough to know who's there. For AEW, I may consider it. But I'm saying this to anyone who complains that I complain too much, that I'm not thinking about, well, why don't I make something about this? Why don't I say what needs to be done? I will. But I can't say how bad the fucking company is acting. Either AEW, WWE, or Impact Wrestling. I can't say how bad they're booking. I can't say what they're doing wrong. You guys tell me below. Was the camera work done well? Was the lighting done well? Was the audio for the interviews done well when there was a whine in the background that sounded like some fucking AC when it came to hearing anything that was going on with Kenny and his group, when it came to Tony Khan, when it came to Rick Swann, anybody who was doing it in the back where it had the rebellion sign, you can hear, what the fuck was that? You couldn't record that when there was no sound in the back? You couldn't check to see beforehand by testing that there wasn't some type of sound in the whine in the back? And maybe it would have been better to do it in a different fucking location? If you think I can't complain about that, maybe you should stop watching wrestling because you don't understand. Wrestling is not about just seeing the stuff in the ring. That counts if you can even see it. It counts if you can hear what the people say. It counts if you can see their faces. Wrestling companies have a certain standard. They got to give you good camera work. They got to give you good lighting. They got to give you good sound quality. When you're at the arena themselves, they got to make sure you can see the ring. They got to make sure you can be heard when the announcers come and talk on any speakers. The Titantron has to be working. That is what makes a company work these days. And Impact Wrestling, who I said for months upon months, I don't know what's going on with the production value. Someone in a truck has been telling the cameraman not to do a proper job. Someone in the truck who has told the cameraman to zoom in so much you can't see anything in the ring has also been the one who's been telling the people who control the cameras to switch, because the majority of the time you saw backs, you saw asses. I'm not even going to show how many shots it is. I got over 30 shots from all the matches. I'm not even going to display them because it'll make me angry when I have to edit this damn thing. This was horrendous. Anyone who reviews this is going to feel embarrassed, and they should feel embarrassed. As wrestling fans of Impact Wrestling, we should be embarrassed. You know why? JD said he was going to watch when it came to Mauro Ranallo. Mauro's work, and I didn't say this, one of the brightest spots next to the video packages, next to the ring work, which, counting on which you watched, was damn good. Mauro Ranallo, for that last match, made that match so good. The audio for him was perfect and crisp. He worked very flawlessly when he worked with Matt Striker and D'Lo Brown. It was like he'd been working there for years and knew how to work with them. It was flawless. He needs to be hired for Impact and to work with them, and I hope that he does. That he stays there for a while, and then if he has to go to AEW maybe a few years later or a year later, he'll go, because this could help the company. But taken away from the commentary, which has never been bad, why in the fuck are you going to watch when you couldn't even see what was going on most of the time in the ring? Bad camera switching. At one point in Brian Myers and Matt Cardona match, when they did that special backflip, almost like a sliced bread almost, you basically couldn't see a damn thing in the ring because the lighting glitched out. When you were listening the entire match, you started hearing weird echoes of people, not the fan music. In other words, that's what I'm calling the fan noise. And that's another thing. No fans. Still, you still have can pops and heat. But then the people in the ring, that they weren't the ones that was heard. It was the people outside the ring you heard. Now most people say that's great, there's noise there. But it didn't sound right. It sounded echoey. Echoey. It was echo, 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 hello, oh, oh, oh. Something like that. It was horrendous that whatever mics they were using was badly calibrated. Calibrated badly. This entire pay-per-view was badly done. I feel embarrassed as an Impact Wrestling fan and reviewer having to do this in front of you guys. You know what? I might show a couple of shots. I might have already done it because I might change my mind. I was so angry. I may just put them there and they're big right in my face. I may not even care. It's just sad. Guys, I love Impact Wrestling. I do. I think they're a great company. But whoever's been running production, I don't care if it's Scott, I don't care if it's Don, I don't care if it's Gail Kim, I don't care if it's Disco Inferno or Johnny Swinger, I don't care who's been running production. Whoever it is should be fired for the amount of horrible camera work. The camera work was so bad at one point. You had Don Collis getting in front of the damn camera and you couldn't see a damn thing but his back. It was terrible. I am embarrassed to be a wrestling fan right now because not only do I have to review a bad company's product that I want to say was great, because the matches were not all bad. They were good matches. The stories were not all bad. They could have added a little bit more. And you see Kenny in my face, who has the titles. This should be special, but it isn't. This company has done nothing but garbage. You basically have a company in Impact Wrestling that again allowed another company to take advantage of them. I've said it. And I mean it. And I could be wrong, and maybe there's some type of special thing that's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. And I said this in my last review of Impact. Wait and see the next couple of weeks and see where they're going to go with this when it comes to Impact and AEW. But if nothing happens, once again, and if you keep defending Impact, you need to get really your mind right. Because again, Impact gains nothing. They help other companies and they gain nothing. New Japan Pro Wrestling has not sent one person other than Finjuice. And I don't care if they say, well, there's a little problem. Please. They could send somebody and not work with them at all. AEW, if they don't work with them and do more and let them be seen, you're going to blame AEW? Are you going to blame New Japan Pro Wrestling? Or are you going to finally decide to blame Impact Wrestling for bad production? Making decisions again, working with now two companies that have not given them anything. Finjuice now have the titles. Unless they do recordings for the next couple of weeks, that's going to be used in the next couple of months. If they disappear again for another month, where does Impact stand with their tag titles? At least when it came to the Good Brothers, they had it and they went back and forth to both companies. If they don't record and they leave to go back to New Japan again, who do you blame? Do you blame New Japan now? Do you fucking blame New Japan, or do you finally blame Impact Wrestling's management? This was my Rebellion review of 2021. It had good matches in it. It had exactly the ending I believed it needed. But the production value was so horrendous. Who gives a fuck? We got many people, including JD, who said he would watch this just to see Mauro Ranallo. And he said he wasn't going to do a review. He might do a review after seeing how horrid the company's own production value is and bury them. And you know what? He has a right to. And if you tell me anyone tells me, dude, you got to stop doing this. Why don't you stop watching wrestling? Kiss my ass. I have the right to complain because they deserve it. My demons have been exorcised. And I'm sorry for my neighbors. I hope they're not angry at all this noise I'm making. I'm sorry, guys, if you hear me. But this is my review. My Gump report is coming out, and it will be about Mickie James. And I will get another Gump report for you as soon as possible. I'm going to make it clear, guys. I'm not bashing you or hating you, but I had to say that. It needs to be stated. Peace.